New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello and welcome back to Global Focus Today. I am Reverend Sharri Johnson, your host, and I have with me today a wonderful visitor who was here a few months ago, and I begged her to come back, and she said yes. Reverend Dr. Michele Whittington. She is the executive director of the affiliated New Thought Network, but she is also an amazing coach, and her business is called Unleash Your Life. Now, can you think of a better way to start than Unleash Your Life? So help me welcome her back to our wonderful stage. Welcome, Reverend Dr. Michele. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me back, Reverend Sharri. I love it. I'm so pleased that you wanted me to come back. That thrills me no end, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm just going to dive right in and ask you questions.
Let's go.
And I'll start with the one I ask everybody because it's always an interesting story and it's never the same. And that is, what brought you into focused ministry?
Well, brought me into focus ministry. Well, I was a minister of a religious science, which is a New Thought church, for almost 22 years. And loved it. It was amazing. It's the only church ministry I've ever done. And in 2018, I left because of a sad thing that happened, and that is my beloved husband passed away. And he was very involved in the church, very involved in supporting me as the minister. And Sharri, to be honest and frank, I realized just a couple months after I came back, after he passed, that I used to say I couldn't do it. I'm just going to be really honest now and say I didn't want to do that anymore without him. I just didn't want to do it. It became painful, actually, to do that without him. And so 6 months after he passed, and I know they say don't ever make major decisions for a year after, big decisions after a major loss, but 6 months after he passed, I stepped down from the pulpit and started my focus ministry. And it has been such a blessing, such a journey. In hindsight, I think it was Steve Jobs in a commencement address who once said, you can't connect the dots. You can only connect the dots by looking back. And I connect the dots now and see that I really was ready to leave pulpit ministry anyway. I just hadn't done it. And my husband's passing was the catalyst to do something that I was really already ready to do. So stepping into a focus ministry, doing my own thing, is just amazing and wonderful. So been at it for about 5 years now.
I love it, and I'm in almost the same situation. My husband passed away in 2018, and I was running a retreat center all by myself, and it took me 5 years to say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. So you're way ahead of the game. And what I want to say before I ask you the next question is what I think is really, really important. Somebody asked me a question today about what would you say to that person then from the perspective of where you are now? And I want to say to you what I would have said to her, and that is that every step you took was necessary. You could not be who you are now. And I know you know this. You probably tell it to all the people you coach, that you could not be who you are, where you are, doing what you are doing now if you had missed one of the experiences that you racked up getting there.
100% agree. 100%. Who we are in this moment is a combination of everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the painful, the joyful, everything that happened brought us to here. Yes. 100% agreement. Yeah.
So what I'm going to ask you is, what was the most important lesson that you took from pulpit ministry into focus ministry?
Ooh, you didn't prepare me for that question, Reverend.
Well, what
Sharri.
fun would it be if you were prepared?
What was the most important thing that I took from pulpit ministry into personal coaching? Well, pulpit ministry is such a journey. I grew up spiritually in that church. Obviously, I had a little bit of spiritual growth before I became the minister. But oh boy, do you ever get to grow more as a minister? So, one the huge thing I brought was my spiritual growth and development, and all the ways in which I learned what I learned through conscious learning, and like going to workshops and conferences and deepening my own spirituality. But then the experiences of being with people and how to hold space for someone as they're going through the most joyful experience they've ever had or the most painful experience they've ever had. So it taught me, I think, a lot more hands-on, ground level ability to be empathetic and understanding, and to listen to and this is what I just got to right now with all that conversation, is got to trust my own intuition. When I'm sitting one-on-one with somebody, I trust that the divine in me is going to be fully present and deliver whatever message I need to deliver for that person. That's probably one of the biggest things I took.
Okay, so we're going to just move, and I want to say hello to Fiona and Shay. Welcome. We're delighted to have you here. And I want to ask now, I know you didn't just close the door of the church and open the door of the coaching business. So how did you make that transition from pulpit ministry, and how did you choose what your focus ministry was going to be?
Well, that's a great question. So about a year and a half maybe or so before I left the pulpit, before my husband, obviously before he passed, I got introduced to a system, if you will, called the art of feminine presence. And I was very intrigued by what that was all about. And so I heard the creator of it speak. I went to a weekend workshop that she did, and I loved everything she had to say. And it was so consistent with our New Thought teachings. And yet for me, took it a level deeper and more into my body, so I could fully embody the feminine power that I am. And we all are powerful, and for me, it's my feminine power, but I didn't really know what that meant. And so I took a year-long course with this woman. Her name is Rachel Jane Groover, and in it, I got trained to teach the art of feminine presence practices. So I started doing that at my center. All before I left, I started teaching classes on the art of feminine presence. And I even did a women's workshop while I was still in the pulpit. I did a women's workshop, and I decided at that workshop I would see if there were people who wanted to do one-on-one coaching with me, kind of outside the church, a private coaching. So I was doing church and doing some private coaching at the same time, which, by the way, was not sustainable. I could not have kept that up because I basically was giving myself 2 full-time jobs, and I could not have done that. But I had that in place already, and then when I left the ministry, the pulpit ministry, I went right into doing that. Now, my work now, it has expanded beyond the art of feminine presence. I still incorporate a lot of those things into the work I do, but it's much more expanded now than it used to be.
But you made your transition be fluid.
it was
it was happening before you knew it was going to be there, which is just, that's the, I saw something about flow this morning. I was reading Mindful Magazine at breakfast, and there was an article about flow. And flow is when what we're doing takes over, and spirit floats the boat, drives the bus, however you want to put it. And that's clearly what you were doing, which is really wonderful, because I suspect that that's what you're teaching the people you're coaching how to do.
Well, yeah, for sure.
So what kinds of things do people bring to you? What kinds of techniques and practices and stuff do you teach them?
Well, it depends on what they need, right? So the other thing I bring from pulpit ministry is 22 years worth of spiritual tools to support whatever the issue is. But so my company is called Unleash Your Life, and my tagline is release the brakes, live your dreams. And those are the people I want to work with. I want to work with people, and I do work with people who are ready to go to the next level, right? I'm not a therapist, and I've done many years of, supporting people in sort of depth pain, and I did to do that, and I don't want to do that anymore. And not that I'm saying we don't all have our issues, and we do, but I really want to work with people, and do work with people who are kind of here and want to go here.
Okay, so you're not building the house from the ground up. You're a spiritual renovation person.
Well, I love that. Yes. Or let's put on that second roof, or that second floor.
Lift the roof. Yes,
down.
I love
Right.
it. I love it.
Exactly.
And one of the ways you do this is with spiritual travel. I want to hear more about that, because that's something that has fascinated me for decades.
Oh, yes. So I feel so blessed. So I just have to back up a little bit and say that over 20 years ago, so here's another thing I brought forward from my ministry. This beautiful young woman named Sharri walked into my church, really seeking, looking, searching, and she started coming regularly. She was like 21 years old. She started coming regularly, and then at one point she says to me, I sing a little. Those were her words. I sing a little. I go, well, we're starting a choir. You want to join it? She did, and then she had a little solo part in the choir, and I'm like, oh my golly, this girl doesn't just sing a little, this girl sings. So fast forward 20 years, more than 20 years, Cerise and I have worked together. The woman is an amazing singer-songwriter, unbelievable. And she and I work together like little peas in a pod. And her husband is Peruvian, and his whole family lives in Peru. She spent a lot of time in Peru, and she actually in 2020, note that year, early 2020, well, actually late 2019, started setting up tours, sacred spiritual tours to Peru. She would lead. And of course, 2020 then hit, and those tours didn't happen because of COVID. Fast forward 2 years. And last year, and so she asked me, would you like to co-facilitate tours with me with women? Because I love doing work with women and to bring the feminine work to women. And so last year we did 2 tours to Peru. Amazing. Last summer we did 2 tours to Peru. I do some teaching. She does singing. She's got all the information and hires all the guys. She does everything. She's our tour mama. She's amazing. And so we're doing another tour this summer, not to Peru because there's a lot of civil unrest in Peru right now, so we're not going there. But instead in June, mid-June, for 10 days, we are going to Mexico, Playa del Carmen, and that region, Cozumel, to see the sacred Mayan sites, which are just as profound and powerful as the sacred Incan sites in Peru. And we'll have all these amazing experiences at these sites. Cerise will sing to us. We'll do spiritual practice. We'll swim in the ocean with turtles. We will go to a Cirque du Soleil show that is based on to honor the Mayan culture. And oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing.
It sounds heavenly. Now, here's a question. From Shay Bird, how do you determine who is ready for the next level, who doesn't need a bunch of trauma healing?
Well, that's a great question, Shay. I always do an intake with people. You can go to my website, which is running across there in a second. Oh, there goes Sacred Spiritual Tours. That's our. Before I answer your question, Shay, let me say one more thing about the tour. We have one spot left. We had somebody, we were full. We had one woman cancel. So we actually have one spot left for this trip that goes June 15th through the 26th. And that website that ran across a minute ago, sacredspiritualtours.com, you can jump on there if anyone's listening and is interested. We've got one spot and would love to have another woman. It is just for women. Sorry, guys who are listening, it is just for women. All right, so to Shay's question, I do an intake interview, and from my website, you can schedule a it's called a complimentary session. It's 20 minutes, and we talk, and I will ask you some focused, specific, detailed questions, which help me see kind of where you are and where you want to go and what's going on. And I can, if you're being honest with me, I can pretty much tell if you're, I don't want to say ready, but if working with me would be valuable to you, or if there's some baseline more work that would serve you better. And I've got resources I can and do send people to if I don't think I'm the person that can serve and support them.
Wow. That was wonderful twice. Once because you gave a great answer, and once because that was a question I would never have thought to ask.
Yeah,
thank you, Shay,
for asking that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what's next in our lineup here. What is the most exciting thing that has happened since the last time you were here in your coaching
in my
arena?
Coaching. Yes. So I think I will say the most exciting thing for me, and it's actually brand new. It's not even brand new yet because it's still in process. But I have recently enrolled in a program because I'm constantly upping my ceiling, raising my level, raising my vibration, going deeper within me, learning for myself, and then I can't just keep it for myself. I've never been able to do that. I've never wanted to do that. And so I take whatever I'm learning and growing into to clients and in classes, because I teach classes as well and with my one-on-one clients. So I recently have started, and it's 7-week, and I'm in week 2 now, a coach's program to learn a system called positive intelligence. And it's really amazing. I would recommend anybody, no matter where you are in your life, whatever level you're at in your of development, spiritual growth, emotional intelligence, emotional maturity, whatever it might be, to get the book Positive Intelligence by Shirzad. I can't pronounce his last name, but if you look up Positive Intelligence, you'll find it. And it's a system of identifying the saboteurs that we've got running in our heads that often are running the show. And we do a lot to try to soften those voices, and so many beautiful spiritual tools, but this is another one that is profoundly powerful, science-based, tons of research done on the impact of the system that positive intelligence is, to quiet those saboteurs that run in the mind and expand the sage brain, the sage mind, which is the mind of empathy and creativity and compassion, and enthusiasm and action. It's an amazing system, and there are techniques and exercises, simple mental techniques and exercises to do to shift out of the saboteur brain into the sage brain. We might equate saboteur brain to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, that side of the brain, or the brain that is the relax, rest, and create. So it's really exciting for me. I'm using it already, seeing some changes in me already. And I'm not ready to bring it to clients quite yet because I need to learn more. But when I do, oh baby, that's going to be a new set of tools in my toolbox that I'm very excited about.
And I got to tell you, Michele, what I saw when you were talking, when you said saboteur, I saw Darth Vader. And when you said sage, I saw Yoda.
Exactly. And it's funny, but you said that, it's very, you said that because the man who created this used to teach at Stanford, and he brought this system to his students. And he tells, because we watch him on video all the time, he says, yes, my students at Stanford called it the Yoda brain. He said, but I can't officially call it that because, that's a copyrighted, term. But he said, that's what my students called it, was the Yoda brain. So, yep, you're absolutely
So
right.
I do want you to know you're much prettier than Yoda.
Well, thank you.
He's adorable and cute, but you're much prettier than Yoda.
And he's quite precious, right? I quote him often. I will quote the great sage Yoda, who said, there is no try, there is only do.
Oh, I have to tell you, I said that to my grandson so many times when we were doing his Eagle Scout stuff. And then one day he asked me for something. And I said, honey, I'm kind of busy, but I'll try. And this 17-year-old kid looks me straight in the eye and says, there is no try. There is only do or do not. Try not. Do. He got what he was asking for.
Don't you hate it when they throw it back?
When your words come back and bite you? Oh, my.
They do all the time. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Shea Bird is right. Carolyn Miss taught the archetypes about that too.
Yeah.
Carolyn Mays,
Yeah.
the shadow work.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, let's see. What's the most challenging thing that has happened since the last time you were here? Which might not be the most fun, but maybe the one that made you grow the most.
What's the most challenging thing that's happened since the last time I was with you? All right. Well, so I am a person. So this is a blessing and a curse, this piece of me. And that is, I want what I want when I want it. I want what I want when I want. I'm kind of spoiled. No, I'm really spoiled. And I'm not happy when I don't get what I want. And so I have had something that I have desired now for a couple of years, and it hasn't happened yet. And so I don't know that it's a challenge since the last time we talked, but I don't think we talked about this.
That it counts.
What's that?
So in that case, it counts.
In that case, it counts, right? Exactly. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to say it. What the heck? Let's just be honest. So I am very open to a new relationship. I took 2 years of just complete grief. Oh, Anthony Prado. My gosh. Hi, Anthony. I know Anthony from my church decades ago. Yeah, I'm so happy to see you see that you're here. Thank you, Anthony. So I'm very open to a new relationship. Took 2 years, really healing my heart, and it's never 100% healed after a loss like the loss of your beloved of 30 years. But I felt ready and did some work and continue to do work, and that hasn't happened yet. So I'm just going to say that's a challenge for me to sit back, just surrender, let it go, and know that there is divine operation happening way beyond my control. So it's an ongoing lesson for me not to be impatient.
Oh, that is so cool. I have to check and make sure I have shoes on because it sounds to me like you're wearing mine.
Oh, okay. There they Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. That's wonderful. So what is your favorite thing that has happened this year?
Okay,
2023.
so
What's the best thing that's happened in 2023?
the best thing that's happened in 2023. Well, what is coming up for me right now, so I'll just say that, and something else may come out as I'm talking, but I feel so I thought of something else too. Okay. I feel so incredibly blessed that I have an amazing system of friends, and that system just keeps deepening. And I love that. And we, do fun things. I love fun things, concerts. Went to see Jimmy Buffett last month. which was a bucket list item for me. I love Jimmy Buffett. I've always wanted to see him. Lonnie and I were going to go, and we just never did. And so when he came to Phoenix, I said to a few friends, we're doing it. We did it. It was one of the most fun concerts I've ever gone to in my life. So one of the great things this year is just growing friendships that, you know, keep blossoming, expanding, and doing lovely, delicious, fun things. But on a professional note, a really exciting thing that I launched at the first of this year is a program called Your Best Year Yet. And I've never done a subscription program before where people pay a monthly fee to do something. So this is a subscription program, people enrolled, and now we every month get together for a workshop. We communicate and connect during the month, and we're working together, and I'm doing it with them, to create 2023 as the best year we've ever had. And one of the things that we did right at the beginning, I'm even going to reach over and get mine to show you. We created what's called a heart map. I'm sure we've all heard of vision boards and treasure maps and things like that. It's a version of that, but it's called a heart map. And you notice that I like purple. On a heart map, you put areas of growth, like fun place, my space environment, financial health, spiritual growth, etc., and then goals that you have that relate to that, and then spiritual qualities that you're going to express when you create that thing that you want to create. And if you'll notice a few stars on mine, I need to put a few more because the stars are manifested things already.
Oh, how cool.
Things that have happened. So my intention is to have this all start up by the time 2003 ends.
I have always loved a vision board, but that takes it a layer past. That putting the stars on it and saying this and this and this, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and the other thing
that's brilliant.
And I wish I could say I created it. I did not come up with that. That comes out of Diane Harmony's work of the 5 Gifts of an Abundant Life. That's her book. Came out years and years and years and years ago.
I know, I've taught that book.
Yeah, so I've taught.
But I didn't remember the stars.
Well, it's not. I think the stars might be mine, but the idea of identifying your goal and then identifying the spiritual qualities that will be made manifest when that goal is reached. I love that part.
Well, and you know, to me, that makes perfect sense because it's a vision board, and identifying the spiritual goals is visioning. And then putting stars on it to show that the goals have been met. Well, that's just common sense, smart.
That's celebrating.
That's fabulous. That's celebrating. I love it. That's just marvelous.
Yeah.
Oh. So what is you've talked to us about your up-leveling education, but what's the next exciting thing that you've got going in your ministry, in your Unleash Your Life thing? Do you have some? And I love that I said, what's the most exciting thing in 2023? And it was 2023. That was pretty cool. Yeah. So I don't know how you're going to top that, but take a shot at it.
So the question is, tell me the question again, is what's next?
Yeah, what's next?
Well, in my coaching, so I do 2 things, and in your introduction, you said I have my Unleash Your Life, and then I also am the executive director for Anton, a affiliated New Thought Network, or Anton. So that's I'll talk about both. So in my Unleash Your Life, I think at this point I'm keeping on. I have a lot of travel coming up this year. So I'm not ready to introduce like any new programs. I teach classes every week. I teach 2 women's circles, one on Tuesday night and one on Wednesday night, always. That's kind of an ongoing thing. And then I have this Best Year Yet, and then I do my one-on-one coaching. And I think for right now, I often do a women's retreat in a year. I'm not sure that's going to happen this year because of all the travel that I'm doing. But so that's that. But then there's the affiliated New Thought Network, and this is very exciting. And this is what part of the travel that I'm doing this year is that the Parliament of the World's Religions
I'll be
which
there.
is a conference that happens every other year, been happening for decades, not sure how many. Obviously didn't happen in 2020, but it's happening this year, and it's in the United States. It goes all over. It's in Chicago this year in August. So Anton will have a lovely presence. Sharri's going to be there. I'm going to be there. And I'll be speaking on a New Thought panel, which is very exciting and slightly terrifying for me. So I'm really going to have to spiritual practice myself up to do that. But I'm really excited. I'm excited about being there. And I'm excited about just all the opportunities that it's going to bring. I don't even know what they are. But I will tell you one. Robert Brzezinski, I'm hoping you're okay if I tell this. I know he will be. So Robert is going to be doing a documentary at the Parliament of World Religions. He's going to create an 80 to 90 minute documentary of the Parliament, which I think is so exciting. And he's going to feature Anton in it, and so I'll be interviewed, and other attendees from Anton will be interviewed as well. But it won't just be a documentary about Anton; it will be about the Parliament, which I think is I don't know exactly what his vision is. And for those of you who don't know who Robert Brzezinski is, probably do, but in case you don't, he is the founder of New Thought Media Network. So this show is being aired on his network. So anyway, that's very exciting to me to go to the Parliament this year and represent the affiliated New Thought Network.
I am, that is way up high in my bucket list. It's like 2 down from hug the Dalai Lama. I mean, it's that I'm so thrilled that I get to go, and I get to go because of my affiliation with the affiliated New Thought Network. It just blew me out of the water when I asked for a grant to go, and they said, sure. And I went,
Yeah, we have this great program that Sharri, you were actually the first. I love this. You were the first recipient of our program. So we launched a program last year called the Extraordinary Support Project, ESP. We thought that was kind of clever. And it's a program to support our members. Now you have to be a member of Anton. Note, member of Anton. But if you're a member of Anton and in good standing, I think you have to be a member for 6 months, you can apply to receive mentoring, funding to go to something like the Parliament of World Religions. Maybe you're a startup ministry and you'd like some funding to help you start up. We'll do that. You need some technology support. Maybe you have a church or a center or an organization or just an independent person who wants to understand technology better and how to use it. We do technology mentoring. We have scholarships for ministerial degrees through our associated school, which is Emerson Theological Institute. You could get a scholarship from Anton to get your ministerial degree. All sorts of ways in which you, as a member of Anton, can get support on Anton's dime. We have set aside money. We've earmarked money for that fund, and we've had we just received a $1,000 earmarked donation this week from an anonymous donor. How precious is that? $1,000 to go into that fund. So we have money in a fund. It's sitting there waiting to be spent on our membership. And so that's a great reason to become a member of Anton.
Well, I'll tell you a better reason to become a member of Anton. When I went to my very first Anton event, which was 3 or 4 years ago, you said, when people ask me, what is Anton all about? What's the job of Anton? You said, it's our job to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It's our job to say yes. And to help spirit say yes. And to help people say yes to spirit. And oh, golly, I just love Anton.
The first time, so I've been a member of Anton for 28 years, probably 28 years. And I went to the first conference. I don't even know if my church was a member at that time, but I went to their first conference in Lake Arrowhead, California. Didn't know a soul my mentor from my church went with me, so I knew him, but I didn't know a soul in Anton, not a soul. I walked into the conference room, and I get a little teary when I tell the story because it's still 28 years later, it touches my heart. I walked into the conference room, and there were maybe a dozen people in that room, and one woman turned to me, looked at me like I was her long lost friend, and came almost running to me with arms wide open and said, "Welcome home," and hugged me. And I felt that warm embrace from her at the outset, and it felt it about Anton ever since.
Yep.
So I was so thrilled to be able to like now work for the organization that I love so much, that it's just this warm embrace.
Oh, I know.
That says yes.
And by the way, I am half of the Anton membership team. So if anybody's interested in learning more about Anton, let me know. I can talk about this for a long time.
Yes.
There are lots and lots and lots of benefits. So
can I say two more things about Anton real quick?
Oh, yes, you can say as much.
Two things coming up that I just love. So every last Thursday of the month, which is this coming Thursday, we do a Thought Leader Thursday, and it's at 9 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. And it's a 1 hour with a thought leader, and it's free. It's free to anybody. You don't have to be a member. Anybody can come, jump on this call. Just go to the Anton website, antn.org, and it's right on the homepage. You can register. You do have to register so you can get the link, but it's free. And Lisa Aldman Baldwin will be our speaker Thursday, and she's amazing. She's written an incredible book. I've done work with her. She works on letting go of fear and moving forward. She's amazing. So that's happening on Thursday. Join us on that. And then Saturday, we're going to have a workshop. We do quarterly workshops, and this workshop is Marketing Your Sacred Self. So it's for anybody who needs to market themselves, whether it's your church or your personal business, whatever it might be, marketing yourself from a spiritual perspective. And it's free to Anton members. It's $25 if you're not a member. Believe me, it's 3 hours worth the price. It's going to be amazing. So you can jump on the Anton website and register for that as well. That's this coming Saturday. Okay.
Okay, so now I'm going to start asking you the questions I ask everybody every time they come, because the answer changes every time. So the first one is, how does, and you can take it from the, I got too close to the microphone, it echoed. You can take it from Unleash Your Life, or you can take it from Anton, or you can do both. So the first one is, how does what you do in the world increase, enhance, advance, pick your verb, conscious evolution?
Well, I think my answer will be the same for both my own work and the work of Anton, because it's all about learning how to express the divine in a greater, more powerful way, less filtered, taking off the filters, or as my tagline says, release the brakes, taking away the filters that stand in the way of us fully expressing who we already are. We already are divine incarnations. We're incarnations of Source, God, life, whatever noun you like to use, makes no difference. But we're already that, but we've got all these layers on top of us. As humans, as human beings, we've got these layers. So my work personally, Anton's work in the world, is to, and Anton has another work in the world, so I'm saying that so I remember to say that in a second, but is to help humanity raise their vibration, raise their level of awareness of their own divinity. And as each person does that, then the world changes. I can't personally make a difference. I can't, by my own doing, go change whatever I think needs to be changed in our world that's not working. I can't do that, but I can do something here. And as I do something here, I actually do impact that, whatever that might be, whether it's a war in Ukraine or civil unrest in Peru or political, whatever we can look at and go, oh my gosh, that's scary and sad that humanity is doing. I may not be able to go physically affect that change, but I can affect that change in consciousness myself, and then by teaching and supporting others as they do the same thing.
And you magically managed to answer both questions, not just that one, but the next one, which is how does that affect, enhance, embrace world peace? You just slid right into world peace, just like that. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am. So that brings me to my very last question. Will you come back?
Oh gosh, if you want me back, of
course.
course.
Always. We want you back. Hold on just a second. I got the calendar right here.
Oh gosh, okay.
I don't let anybody get away. They say yes,
too.
I book them. All righty. The first opening we have, are you ready?
Yep.
January 9th.
Oh my goodness. Not until next year.
Not until next year.
Good for you.
You have really got us going here.
Good for you. So I suspect I'll be available. What date was that?
January 9th.
Let me look. Look at that. My calendar is free on January 9th.
Yippee, hooray. You are now booked.
All right. I will put it on my calendar. That's funny, Sharri. You're cute.
And thank you so much for saying yes the first time and the second time and the third time, because it's always wonderful when you come and see us. And folks, you got to be here next week, because next week we have someone who's not been here before, but she's really fascinating. Her name is Reverend Kathy Mastroianni. I love to say that because I can spell it and most folks can't. Kathy Mastroianni is the executive director of the Science of Mind Archives and Library in Golden, Colorado. And she knows more about Ernest Holmes and New Thought than any other 6 people I know put together. And she can give you access to all of it. So come again next week. And in the meantime, have a wonderful week. Mwah! I love you. Bye-bye.
Amazing. Amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, you will do amazing things.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network. Come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.